Adam, it was the first time you missed nationals in a long time.
Dude, I was at nationals, drum and bugle corps nationals in Indiana.
It's showtime. This is The Ski Show, the ultimate show ski podcast, and your one and only source for all things show skiing, bringing you news, knowledge, and interviews with the legends and stars of our sport. Here are your hosts, Matt Heilman and Adam Schaller.
Welcome to the Ski Show, still the only media on the planet dedicated to the sport of show skiing. We are here with our Nationals recap episode. So much to talk about. State recap feels like we just did yesterday, but it was weeks ago. We're going to talk all things Nationals. We are recording this. Listen, Adam retired from show skiing. He was not on Mad City's show. He is so dedicated to the podcast because we are recording this on his wedding anniversary. The dedication is unreal. It's his anniversary today. Happy anniversary, Adam and Cara.
Thank you very much. 25 years.
25.
25.
That's amazing, dude. Congrats. Thanks for spending your time with us instead of with your bride.
We're going out to eat afterwards, so this is going to be a very short podcast.
Sounds good. Well, let's crank it out.
Well, let's start today by talking about our two main episode sponsors. If you don't know about the board shop by now, I'm not sure that we can help you. They've got literally everything you need for both summer water sports and winter board sports season.
Yeah, saw the Richlings and Nationals. Great to see them and catch up. Doing great, crushing it in the Wonder Lake show. And they own the board shop. And whether you need skis, boards, bindings, whatever you need, apparel, accessories, and more, they've got it all. You got to visit their store in Lake Geneva. It is awesome. If you can't get down there, make sure you hop online and check them out at bswake.com. That's bswake.com. Additionally, we also are been sponsored season long by Saga Sports. Athletes have trained with Saga, that have trained with Saga, have absolutely crushed it at state and nationals, regionals. People like the Fedorowicz siblings taking their game to new heights because of the time and the training they put in.
Yeah, that's right. They do on-water training, but in particular, they also do trampoline training for freestyle jump. You learn the technique and the air sense on trampoline without all the harsh falls. Then you'll be ready to take your jumping to the next level. You can check them out at sagasports.us. That's sagasports.us. All
right, special guest on the podcast today. We've got David Rezin. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys.
I mean, as many times as he's been on the podcast, do you really call him a special guest? I think at this point he's just
Well,
guest.
It's funny you should mention because we were being interviewed by this documentary. They're filming a documentary on show skiing, and they were at Nationals and at Team USA training, and they interviewed Dave and I, and she asked him about the podcast.
I get that question a lot about, your podcast or whatnot. And I purposely distance myself from the podcast just for the sake of legal reasons. At some point in time, it's going to
and you don't want...
No, I don't want anything to do with it. It's going to come bite you guys in the ass someday. No, just kidding. Love being a part of it, guys.
And you put in about as much work on it as Adam does, so
that's fair.
The heavy lift.
Yeah.
Heavy lift.
So, all right. Heavy lifting. All right, few things. We got some news to talk about. We're going to get into our Nationals recap. Lots to talk about. I want to first of all talk about the Ski Show Awards. We're doing this again at Think Tank, multiple years in a row. Interestingly, a lot of conversation at Nationals, people chatting about different awards. Of course, people have ideas of new awards we should add into the mix. They want a best crash. They want a couple of other things, a sportsmanship award, things of that nature. But we do already have 32 awards. Our awards committee is cranking it out. We added a couple of new members to the awards committee this year. And this fall, they're going to do really the heavy lifting on the awards. The public nominations are out, and those are pouring in. Like, we're getting tons of public nominations. You can still nominate people. We're still taking nominations that we're sharing with the committee. If you've got somebody particular, like the hard ones every year are boat rider, pub. What are some of the other challenging ones? Those two in particular. Like, we need more names. We need people like, who are the best in the sport that need to be recognized? That's what the Ski Show Awards are all about. It's recognizing people in this sport that don't always get recognized. And we're looking for names. So we'll publish that link again. It's a Google form. You can nominate people and put them on the committee's radar. The committee is ultimately responsible for vetting nominees, having the discussion, and voting. The public will get to vote once they've decided their top fives. But we want to hear from you and hear more from you. Team USA training camp. We had our first couple of days. We named an initial group, over 60 people combined with skiers, drivers, announcers, and sound, all invited. Final roster's got to be 35 plus 5 alternates. So we had a much bigger crew at Team USA training. Dave, what were some of your takeaways on those couple of days? Great couple of days, of course. Talk to us about your thoughts walking away from Team USA training.
Well, I think going into it, we knew that we had a lot of some of the sport's brightest and talented younger skiers that were invited. And the question was, I think in both your and my mind, was how are they going to mesh with the veterans? How are they going to step up in the moment? Were they going to go ahead and were they going to be able to showcase their talent on the water with, again, skiing alongside some of their, idols, so to speak? And we heard that a lot that weekend or that practice period. Mm-hmm. And the answer to that was a resounding yes. I mean, everything that we asked of those skiers, by and large, that they were able to complete. And so, and that's not just the skiers, that's the drivers, that's the announcers, that was the sound personnel, and certainly the skiers. So these guys stepped up in the biggest way. What we saw, we saw, some combinations that were out of this world from a jumping, barefooting, swivel standpoint. We saw some never before seen stuff that was kind of on our wish list that we threw out there on Tuesday morning. We saw some fantastic shows that we'll touch on here in just a second. And that was an awesome lab experiment. It was such a fun event to be a part of. And I think that was all around for those who were supporting that effort, like Brad and Caleb and Nick and Darian and Callie, to those who participated in it. So great stuff.
Yeah. For our audience that's, wasn't there or is less connected, here's what those couple of days look like. First of all, we were planning on getting on the water Sunday night after awards. But with the weather that came in Sunday morning, it delayed everything. Awards were in the dark. Team USA didn't start on the water until Monday morning. So we stayed in Iowa. The team all gathered there. We skied 10 hours in the 100% humidity on Monday. Literally, we ran out of gas in the boats throughout the day. We were going. We did everything that we wanted to see, from swivel sets to back barefoot lines to 2-ski jump sets to 1-ski jump sets to girls stuff to specialty sky ski, trick skiers, back barefoot circles, the whole deal. They skied their butts off all day on Monday. We also placed the group, we divided the group into 3 teams, and they were placed on mini teams. And we introduced those teams on Sunday night. And the goal was for them to collaborate and write a 30-minute 7-act show. And they're going to perform those on Tuesday. And so they had a couple of days to, both nights in the hotel, Sunday night and Monday night, to write shows, to collaborate, to write boat patterns, to plan intros. Announcers played a big role in this, and sound. Drivers helped. Everybody worked together. It was super cool. It's the second time we've done this. Amazing collaboration, team camaraderie. We allowed the mini teams to practice some things. We had pairings of jump groupings go out that were in their mini teams so that they could practice jumps together. And then they performed shows. And Dave and I judged the shows, and we came up with a winner. Team B was the champions. Congrats to Team B yourself. They had a great show.
That was a paperwork thing. That was a paperwork team.
Yeah. I mean, they won despite having a penalty. They had a safety violation, and they still won. They skied clean, most difficult show, really fantastic. So that's how we structured the days, and then we walk away like Dave said. The stuff performed was out of this world, both on a, stuff we wanted to see that will be in our show and some like world-class, world-first, world record stuff that was amazing to see.
Yeah, I was not at nationals, but I was at the Team USA tryouts, and a couple of things come to mind is, over the years on Team USA, there's always, it seems like to me there's always been like this core group, and every couple of years you got there's new people that are introduced, and I always knew who they were kind of going into it. Maybe I didn't know them, but this time around I had to learn some names, like. Mm-hmm. A lot of young kids, and like you said, they stepped up, and man, some of the skiing that you saw was unbelievable. You guys have a very difficult job selecting this team from what I saw, and like they were just great. But I'm speaking for me from what I saw. I think you guys could take any combination of the skiers that were present, or any combination of sound or announcers and boat drivers, and put out a winning show. That's how much talent was there at tryouts.
The depth of talent is unreal. And to your point on the new faces, so roughly of the people at the training camp, about half had participated in Team USA in some way in the past, either on the team or at a previous training camp. And about half had not ever participated in a Team USA event. And so a lot of new faces and a lot of young talent. It was so fun to see.
Yeah, and a big shout out to the Waterhawks. They supplied us obviously with the site, with the house sound, with their twin rig, with an inboard, so on and so forth. So not only were they gracious hosts at nationals, but they were gracious hosts after nationals and supporting Team USA. So thanks to CJ and the entire Waterhawks team for stepping up and assisting us.
Yep, great couple of days, and now to Adam's point, we have our work cut out for us. We will be selecting the roster and announcing that sometime in mid-September. You'll definitely, once we zero in on a date for final roster selection, we'll publicize that far and wide and probably be doing a live stream announcement of that team sometime in mid-September. So look forward to that. Adam, you have spent your summer, I mean, you've done a lot of stuff, but one of the things you've done this summer is a world tour of ski shows of sort.
Yeah, well, let's call it Wisconsin tour, I
guess. You've seen a handful of ski shows at their sites. Talk about that.
Number one, it was awesome, and that's what I wanted to do. It's, you see all these teams, right? Wisconsin State is the biggest water ski tournament in the world, and you see all these teams, 30-plus teams, but it's in this tournament setting, right? It's under, you're being scored, you're in front of a big crowd, you're at a site you're not familiar with. I wanted to go see these teams like in their element at their home site, and it was awesome. And I started out, Cara had a work thing up in Wausau, so I joined her for a night, and we went to the Central Wisconsin Water Walkers show that was in Wausau. They have two sites, actually. I didn't know that. They have one in Wausau, and they have one on Lake Dubé. And the site that we were at was in Wausau. Nice site, plenty of parking, public restrooms, nice bleachers, also picnic tables, whatnot, right by a boat landing. Great little site. They have not put a jump on it yet. I guess they're putting a jump on next year. But that was a fun show. Great theme, a survivor theme. I think they ended up winning production at state. That was fun. The one thing that stood out about that show was Now, understand, I'm going to these shows. I am not wearing anything Mad City, Team USA. I have a hat on, sunglasses. I just want to watch the show. I am sitting in the bleachers at this show, and during the big act intro, you know how that, a boat comes up, it gets intro, it might be swivel, and then it's cons and whatever. Girl in the front row of the intro, like literally hits the girl next to her and points at me during the intro and says, "That's Adam Schaller."
Perfect.
All right. Yep.
Incognito
okay.
Didn't quite
Incognito.
work.
Yep. But that was fun. And then spent some time up north after state with Cara and Annika, and we went to Plum Skeeters. Beautiful site. Everything you think about Northwoods, Wisconsin is their site. I mean, the old wooden benches built into the hillside, tall pines, and literally, like right before the show started, an eagle flew down and flew across the show course like it was staged. I mean, just beautiful site, great show. And they got a good trick skier on that team. They did a nice job. It was fun. They got the grill out. They're selling concessions. It was just fun. And then same trip. And now understand, a lot of these teams are not that close together up there, so you're spending some time driving. Went to Tomahawk following night. Saw the Quahomets, which is actually the first water ski show I think I've ever seen when I was a kid. That was my first show, was the Quahomets. And I tell you what, if you want to go see a good ski show, you go to Tomahawk and watch the Quahomets. Mickey, the announcer, does a great job. He's funny. They didn't have a theme. They just put out 13 acts. They didn't repeat any acts, and it was fantastic. Like, I know scoring has kind of killed things that we used to see in ski shows, like the crisscross cut under and the barefoot starts act and the two ski bomb outs and just all of that stuff. It was cool show, great site. That was just like, to me, that's like show skiing to a T. Go watch the Quahomet show. Just was awesome. And then did go to, which I've been to before, went to an Aquabat show just because we were in the area and it was Friday night. Watched that. That's comparing apples to oranges. That's a different animal.
Did you watch all 3 hours of it?
No, we didn't. It does get a little long. I mean, they've got their traditions, and it's just different there because they are not only performing just for the crowd in front of them, but they've also got restaurants on both sides of the show course, which are pretty far down, that they take their passes in front of, and then they go all the way around because they're also entertaining boats. So those passes get pretty long. So there are some gaps there where the audience that's directly in front is, if you're going to be an announcer for them in Aquabats, just be prepared to talk nonstop for 2 hours. There's a lot happening there, but it was fun. And then, went with Dave. We went to Southern Wakes United. And what lake is that on, Dave?
Whitewater. Yeah.
Whitewater. Yep. Saw that show. There's a new restaurant, bar, grill there that's right there at the site, so that was fun to do. I think there's some Aqua Jays involved with that, right?
It is.
The wharf.
That was a good time. So, yeah, it was fun. Hopefully maybe get to another show or two, but it's none of them are close. So it just becomes a challenge in terms of, getting to all of those.
Some Mad City folks are heading out to Catfish Bay to watch and hang out to ski.
Would love to do that.
The
When are they
greatest
doing
show
that?
on H2O. I want to say next weekend.
Okay. Very cool.
So, yeah, there'll be a few Mad City folks out with the Catfish Bay. So.
Oh, and I forget. I went up not 2 weeks ago. I went up and saw in Wapaka chain skiers.
Chain skiers, yeah.
Yep. They have some challenges with their site like we do. They have we have that seawall by the Monona Terrace. They have a seawall that extends their entire show course.
Ooh.
The water never settles. I mean, it's a nice site, but they've got that seawall. The water just doesn't settle because it bounces back out, and they do a nice little show there. So it's just fun to see all the uniqueness involved with all these different teams at their home site. So it was great.
How many of the shows knew you were there? Did all of them eventually or no?
Plum Skeeters, I think I got away clean on that one. When Aquabats, I didn't expect them. That
Right.
wasn't an issue, but I think the rest of them, I didn't make it 2 steps into the Water Walkers show site. They recognized me, and then same with chain skiers. I was walking down the stairs to their seating area, and a mom recognized me. And just I tried, but it's what it is. It's fun.
Good stuff. Adam's World Tour of ski shows sounds fun.
To be continued.
To be continued. Yeah, I love that. All right, well, let's dive into our Nationals recap. It's why we're here this episode. We're going to be having Will Bazeley on shortly to talk about their Division I National Championship. We're going to start with Division II, and I just want to highlight some of the results. There were 4 teams at Division II Nationals this year, and 4th place was the Arch Rivals, 3rd place Ski Bronx, 2nd place Silver Lake, and 1st place from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, the Ski Sprites took 1st place. Show director Jake Weber, who is also now a member of our podcast awards committee, which we mentioned earlier, has really led some growth with that team. They're doing really well. Talking to Jake, you get a sense that he's had a vision the last couple of years, that he's set out to accomplish some things, and they've done quite well. So congrats to the Ski Sprites. MVPs of that tournament, the most valuable male was Dane Engstrom. Ben Walker was actually not at the tourney. He was back-to-back D2 best male the last 2 years. He didn't make the tourney. Ski Sprite still won without him, and Dane Engstrom wins best male. Lexi Africa from Silver Lake was the female, most outstanding female.
And they were both at Team USA tryouts, and you know why they were the MVPs.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah,
good
great
skiers.
skiers.
Good skiers.
Yep.
And Dane's a character.
And they stood out in their shows, and Dane is a character for sure. Showman, too. Fantastic. I'll highlight the individuals a little bit here. Tons of individuals at D2. So, like individuals this year, we've talked about this the last couple of years, Dave, right? Booming. So, Midwest region, individuals thriving. Midwest actually had more individuals than Wisconsin State, I think.
Wow.
93.
Insane amount of individual competitors. D2 Nationals, large competitor list. 360 swivel champion was Ellie Hartman. Open swivel champ Haley Planton. She was beautiful, wasn't she, Dave? Both at state and nationals.
Technique is fantastic. Lines, grace, artistry, what she does, anything she puts on the water, she does very, very well. Really
She looks great.
Yeah, she's an under the radar solar that is just beautiful on the water.
Yep. Freestyle jump, Dane Engstrom won that. He won the Division II freestyle jump. 360 swivel pairs, Cameron and Kendall Rezin won 360 pairs. That was fun.
It was fun.
Open doubles, Connor Corley and Matt Chernisky, arch rivals. Team jump, Silver Lake took the crown there. An intermediate freestyle jump was won by Jordan Scholl. So lots of individual competitors at D2. Only 4 teams. Again, conversations will kind of continue at the NSSA level about what the future of that tournament looks like, what is best for the sport. Be great if more than 4 teams went. Nonetheless, the explosion of individuals there is awesome. So it does make for a pretty fun, successful weekend.
Yeah, Matt.
Dave, you were down there for the individuals, right?
Yeah, and I will say at D1 Nationals, there's a lot of chatter about a lot of things. Obviously, a new site at D1. Certainly, entry requirements were top of mind and discussed at D1 as well. But there was a lot of conversation. A lot of people came up to me, and I heard conversation in the background about what would this event be like if we combine D1 and D2? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Is it kind of a spin-off of what the experience is at Wisconsin State? There's a lot of curiosity behind that. I'm excited to hear about that. I'm excited that people are talking about that because I think that there's still the opportunity to make D1 and D2, combine it and make it even bigger and better and more of an event that people want to go to. D2 teams, again, we'll use the term D2, whether it's D1 or D2, competing in D2 nationals, as well as individual competitors, them wanting to make that trek, wanting to make that trip because they want to see the D1 competitors and teams and experience that all inclusively. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think it's time to try.
Yep.
You know, we can always go back, and it's not going to negatively impact the current state of the event. You know, it can't hurt to pilot something new and see what happens. So anyway, the NSSA board will take that up and have some conversations on it. D1, let's talk about Division I Nationals. I want to go through some of the results, and then we're going to bring Will on the show, and then we're going to reflect on the weekend and the shows and the site and all of that. So individual results, Open Swivel Champ, Caroline Grubbs, phenomenal. And those top three ladies, Caroline, Paige Pashina, Bria Lebda, phenomenal. They were great. So fun to watch. And Caroline was a standout again. Congrats to her. Women's freestyle, of course, Sarah Fedorowicz was your champ. She just jumps. I mean, her jumping is so great. One ski flips, one ski gainers. She fits right in with the guys. She's continuing to break barriers, and she's gonna make a back half. She's going to.
Has she made one?
Nope,
No.
not yet.
So not in practice, not in competition.
Not yet.
Not made one yet. Okay.
She's going to. She's
She will.
going
Yeah,
to.
for sure.
Strap doubles, a resounding victory. So no Corey and Kim this year at Division I Nationals. First place with a resounding victory was Dalton Myers and Lily Roman. Congrats to those guys. Swivel pairs, Lexi and Brooke Gunderson with the upset over Paige Pashina and Bria Lebda.
It was a good one.
Yeah,
it was good.
It was great. Paige and Bria, admittedly, they will tell you they were not sharp. They're normally so in sync and so perfect and so fun to watch, and they had their hiccups.
Yeah.
They had a few hiccups, and Lexi and Brooke were beautiful. They were perfectly in sync, high level of difficulty, and they came away with first place in swivel pairs. Really fun to see those young girls rise up to the challenge there. Team jump was one of the best team jump comps we've had in a long time from an execution standpoint. So there were 5 jump teams that had 400-point jump acts.
Wow.
5. Including Mad City, who didn't fill the pickup boat for once in team jump. Good jump act. First place, 3 out of the last 4 years, the boys from Catfish Bay. The boys from Catfish Bay came out on top. Very close competition. Congrats to Catfish Bay, team jump champ. Freestyle jump. Probably one of the best freestyle jump lineups from a difficulty standpoint we've had since the 90s. Okay, the talent and skill since then has exploded. In that comp, these were all made tricks. There were a couple more attempted of each of these, but these were made in competition. 4 front halves made. 4 back halves made. 1 ski 720 made. 1 ski Mobius made. All made in the team jump competition. Successful, clean jumps. First place in team jump was Ethan Schulda with probably the best set of freestyle jump I've seen with my own eyes. His back half and front half and the cut he takes at those and the speed he attacks the ramp and the distance he goes and sticks those landings. Ethan Schulda's your freestyle jump champ.
Yeah, he's so aggressive
Thoughts
at
on
the
that,
ramp.
gentlemen?
Yeah, no, he's so aggressive at the ramp. The distances he's pulling for both his back half and front half. I mean, I've seen a lot of back halves and front halves. Both of his are right up there. Callan Ashcroft from Australia, that back half comes to mind when we were at Worlds last year.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Ethan's was right there, probably not. I mean, Kellen's got that LD background, but I mean, Ethan's was really good. And then to follow that up with his front half, where he is just as aggressive and going, 75 feet, all of 75 feet, almost reaching that ball. It's, next to Cale Duquesne's, what was it, Send It performance last year. Again, a beautiful front half. Ethan is remarkable off the ramp right now. No fear.
Yep.
Yeah, and at tryouts, he did a wicked wicked two-way double wake cut on the one ski and did a ride over with a tail grab.
Yeah, he's going for a one ski ride over distance record.
Who wants the 120-foot record for one ski ride over?
God.
He would love to do that. Phenomenal stuff. Great skiing on the individual level at D1 Nationals. Always fun to see. MVPs of the tournament. Your Skip Gilkerson winner was Ethan Schulda. And your Willa Cook winner, first four-time winner.
Four times.
Kaylee Kohler. So, well done by them. Incredible. They both skied really fantastic shows.
What a weekend for the Nuts.
Ethan, great weekend for the Nuts. And Ethan skied such a difficult show and just top-level stuff that he does. All right, on to the team results. We're not going to go through them all, but we do want to highlight the top 5. 5th place, coming for the first time to Nationals ever. 5th place was Cypress Gardens, and they were really happy with a top 5 finish. They have a big team, a talented team, but new site, traveling across the country, first time at Nationals. 5th place for them. Congrats to Cypress Gardens. 4th place was Wonder Lake. 3rd place, the Rock Aqua Jays. 2nd place, Mad City. And your Division I national champions are the Aquanuts. They had 7 falls. Phenomenal show. Really well done. Their talent and numbers combined led them to victory, and it was well deserved for sure.
Yeah. Aquanuts, when they are on, they are on. And we've seen quite a few performances over the past 2, 3, 4 years where they're in the single digits. And when they're skiing that well and they've got that amount of individual talent, you mentioned Kaylee, you mentioned Ethan, but that's just the top of the iceberg, essentially. They've got such depth and such individual talent, from the Gundersons to their trick skiers. Carter, Borman, amazing. Like they've got so much talent. And when they're all clicking and doing what they do and doing it well and executing, they are a tough, tough team to beat. So now
they
that
have
said,
so
Matt,
much talent. They had Ryan Emmering out, one of their phenomenal trick skiers, and they still rolled to victory without him. Just a ton of talent. All right, well, let's move into our featured interview today. All right, well, as we do each and every Nationals recap, state recap, we welcome on the winning show directors, and this time we've got the Aquanuts show director, Will Bazeley. Welcome to the show, Will.
Hey, thanks, Matt. This is awesome.
Yeah, glad to have you on.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Let's start off with, when was the last time the Nuts won Nationals?
It was 2022
Okay,
during the 50th anniversary. So it was the Mary Poppins year that we won state and nationals. So it's been a little bit.
Not that long ago.
No. And
Fantastic.
then before that it was 15. So
All
it's
right.
not all the back-to-backs that you guys have.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Sure was.
Talk to us a little bit about, after state, what was the feeling among the team, and what was the mindset then going into nationals?
Yeah, state, we definitely had some things that were a little disappointing. Like ballet. Everyone knows the Aquanuts have great ballet and everything, and we had great numbers going into state, and we were pretty excited. So overall, we were a little disappointed. We had a lot of things go well, but a few of the things that went wrong were very big hits to us, both ballets, and then neither of our pyramids came home. So we were determined to try to pull it together, and we just kind of went to work. And then we had a lot of people gone, so dealing with that, but we just kind of pulled it together, focused on the stuff that we could do well, and executed.
Did you
And so
guys
that was,
did you guys make any changes after state, or was it just like, hey, we don't need to make changes, we just need to execute?
yeah, it really wasn't a lot of changes. The biggest changes were more to adapt to the site. So just like everybody, going from right to left for pyramids, those were really, we looked at our show and just said, hey, if we execute on those things that usually go well, we're going to be in good shape. Why? We're not going to try to blow up the whole show. We did lose some people going into state. We had a pretty big injury, lost a couple of our trickers, and so there was a few changes, minor changes to patterns in that. But no, we were pretty feeling good about the show overall, and just to your point, had to execute. So that's where our focus was let's get down to work and make sure those things are clean.
Leading into the season, so it was probably early June, I played golf with Bob Kohler.
Yeah.
We get together periodically, and he was telling me at that time, and this is actually just prior to our tournament season preview podcast, that you guys were bigger this season, more numbers, more talent, and that he was looking forward to the season, as I'm sure you were as show director. Hence why I picked you as my pick in the fantasy draft, which we're going to talk about today, Adam, in this podcast. But I felt good at, talking to Bob about all the things you guys had going on.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always come together magically. So where I want to go is talk about the challenges. Show directing is a hard gig. It's really hard. And what were the challenges and headaches and hiccups you had along the way to get to this national championship this year?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. We did have some good excitement on the team. We had some numbers. We were hoping. We fell a little short of a pyramid goal. Our big pyramid goal was three, 4 highs. I thought we were going to get there. It just didn't come together. But going back to clean was better than trying to push it. So, we went into the season with some pretty good defined goals for the team. And everyone knew the things that we were going to shoot for, and we were really going to try to maximize all of our talent and work the numbers around it. So we went into things pretty pumped up and just tried to maximize what we could do and enhance other things. One of the big things we focused on was trying to have our driving patterns a little more dynamic, faster, lots of stuff going on, and keeping that. But the other big thing was focusing on that showmanship. So we did really try to build people up a lot. Build people up throughout the season and keep the excitement right off the bat and get some people into new acts, which helped people be very excited about what was going on. And so there was a great vibe at the site overall.
And probably didn't hurt that the Nuts ended up with the Willa and the Skip winner as well.
Yeah, that
helps to have Ethan and Kaylee in your show, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, having them, Carter, the Gundersons, the Aquanuts. We've always had great individual talent, and really, I focused a lot around how do we emphasize those people, and then where we could play with the numbers and add the numbers to the acts. Let's go ahead and make that bigger and better. And it doesn't hurt that we have people too, like Lisa and Candace working on the costumes, and so there's all those other components. But yeah, some of those star skiers really showed up at nationals, which was awesome to hear, and that was so exciting during awards to see. Once some of that started rolling, it got pretty exciting.
What were your challenges with the site? How did you prepare for it? Being in Evansdale at the Waterhawks site for the first time, teams from Wisconsin not having competed in a competition there.
Yeah.
What was your mindset and what was your game plan going into that site?
I'm really glad we went early. We went into the first May practice. We didn't go in the June one as a team. So that gave us some good insights, and some of the things that we had started planning, we actually changed even from then. You know how it works. You go in with best laid plans, and inevitably there's going to be lots of changes as you learn things throughout the season. But then we went to Midwest Regionals, which really helped. One of the best things that I really liked about that was just seeing girls on some of the teams doing ballet and how many girls could come off their dock and other things. But really, the biggest changes we made in being a team, though, that doesn't have the great big 6-boat big axe with 95 people back there, we didn't have some of those challenges. We have a lot of stuff that stays in the course, one passes back and forth. So that was really easy to adapt. But changing the pyramid from right to left instead of left to right wasn't a big deal. People adapt to it really, really well. And I don't know. In my opinion, I didn't think the skiing of that site was that bad. I thought a lot of the Wisconsin teams adapted pretty well to the site overall, which I think speaks to the talents of all of the different teams out there. But it wasn't as bad as I thought. There was still some things that would have been nice for the barges and pyramid setups, but overall, we're kind of at that perfect size that it's easier for us to, I think, adapt to that site than some of the bigger teams.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
What does, so you kind of mentioned you guys were probably a little bit bigger this year in terms of skiing members than you have been in the past. What I know it's we're still in August here, but what does that look like going into next year? Has Nationals generated a lot of excitement? Are numbers going to be down? I mean, because inevitably you have a 50th anniversary like you did. The team gets big and then it kind of drops off a little bit. Same with I think happened to the Rock Aqua Jays this year. Last year they were gearing up for the big 50th Nationals, which they ended up winning. But then they kind of had a drop off in numbers the following year. So I don't know if you've already got a sense of what that looks like for next year.
Yeah, I obviously I'm trying to keep my pulse on that. We went into it with, for instance, we were at a 30-girl ballet for state. Unfortunately, we lost some of those girls for nationals. We were down to 25 on our ballet one, which that was disappointing. Just that we couldn't have some of those people because of conflicts and weren't able to be at nationals.
Who goes to state and can't go to nationals?
I'm not
What
going to
what
name
is
names.
this? Are you kidding me?
They wish they would have been there, but yeah, it was tough. So
That's a politically correct way.
Wasn't
of
on the
saying
calendar.
that.
Just wasn't on the calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
They
It
didn't
wasn't
check
on-
Team Snap before nationals.
Oh yes, good old Team Snap. But going in next year, I think there's a bit of a buzz at the team. So there's a few things going for us. Obviously, we're going to ride the wave of excitement with the national championship. That's hopefully going to help to keep everyone energized over the winter. We're trying to set some expectations for next year around some things we want to do, hopefully be a little bigger. Also been chatting with people about the hopefully coming back and enjoying it. Plus, we're going into our 55th year anniversary. So there's some things we can hopefully build off of to increase the numbers and be able to put on an amazing show again next year.
Talking about your show itself at Nationals, when you got done with the show, you had to feel great about it. 7 falls. What stood out to you about that performance?
The excitement and the showmanship. That was something that I've talked a lot about, and we have, as a team, have talked a lot about the junior tournament. We talked about that with our junior team, and at the junior tournament, we've been really focusing on the showmanship. So that's one of the biggest things. The skiing aside, it was so awesome to see everyone have phenomenal showmanship and be pumped up. Now, to your point, it always helps when you only have 7 falls. People are more energized. People are excited from the first step. So that stood out. But then aside from the showmanship, just some of the stuff that was executed, going back to Ethan and Carter and Kaylee and all them, like Ethan just had the show of his life.
Ethan's back half, front half, back to back, unbelievable. He skied the most difficult show someone's ever skied at a national tournament. Like, it was crazy. It
was crazy. Well, and even him and Craig jumping it with a Mobe front flip off the kicker, and then that opener, though, when I saw that come through with the Carter jumping and then the 4 backs came in, there was a few things that hit in the show that just gave me chills as I was able to watch it on the webcast afterwards. We were like, wow, I don't think we could ever get that kind of timing on purpose. There was several things that just the timing came out perfectly that just between the announcing, and there was a part where when watching it, when Amy was singing and the final pyramid comes in and lands, and she just hits on her part about, all right, everybody scream, and that's when we landed. It was just like, wow, that just couldn't happen again. But it was just the energy was so pumped up. Seeing everyone go and start hugging each other and jumping around at the end of that show, we knew we did something special.
Yeah, it was special. And again, congratulations, and carry that energy into 2027.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats, Will. We have a lot of friends on the Aquanuts. It's one of the best things about this sport is the camaraderie and sportsmanship, and we're really happy for you guys. What a great show. What a great national championship. Congratulations to you and the Aquanuts, and best of luck next year as well.
Thank you to you guys as well. Looking forward to seeing how we all wrap up the season and where we go next year. Thank you.
Thanks, Will.
Awesome. So, gentlemen, first nationals in Evansdale. Great nationals weekend. The top shows all stood it up again. Your usual suspects were in the top 5. The Hartwick Huskies and the Midwest Ski Otters had great shows this year. Let's reflect a little bit on D1 Nationals. What are your thoughts now that tournament season's all but wrapped up?
Well, I guess I got a question for you guys because, like I said, I wasn't there. I just watched what I could on the webcast. But did you think that teams adapted well to that site?
Yeah, Matt and I had obviously had a lot of conversation going into this, and I said a while ago, I think that this is going to be very similar to what the initial experience was at Lake City and Warsaw, where there's naturally some anxiety and some concern about the site and the specifications and whatnot. But in the end, people are going to walk away saying, hey, it wasn't as bad, and it wasn't bad at all, but they're saying it wasn't as bad as what we thought. And I think that was, at least in my opinion, what the feeling was, that hey, we could take acts from right to left like pyramid and turn them into normal pattern. We were able to have a 4-boat or 5-boat pattern if run perfectly on the right side, and we were able to execute that. The width was certainly conducive. It's wider than Janesville, for crying out loud. So acts like ballet line and whatnot were definitely possible. And so I think everybody was able to adapt, and I think that you saw that because I think that a lot of the conversation was, hey, this site will potentially go ahead and kind of equal the playing field, when in reality what happened is you kind of saw the usual suspects at the top of the standings, but at the same time it allowed some of the smaller teams to come in saying, hey, how can we maximize what we're doing on some of the site that might be less adaptable to the larger teams. So Matt, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, very similar. I think the overall the execution throughout the weekend was high. I think teams did their homework, so there's a couple layers to that. So we spent tons of time on site prep personally. Mad City practiced within the confines of that site. We spent countless hours repping big acts and things of that nature to within the confines of the width of that pattern. We brought pyramids from the other way, so we spent a lot of time. I thought going in that the Midwest region teams would have a little bit of an advantage, having just skied there 2 weeks prior, and that and they did well, and yet still at the top were 3 Wisconsin teams, which I was surprised and encouraged to see. 3 Wisconsin teams, 1, 2, 3, at a site we've never been at. And so the execution was high. The skiing conditions were great. The water it's protected. So from a wind standpoint, it's calm. Once the water gets churned up, similar to other small sites, it keeps churning. It doesn't calm down very fast. There's some backwash that comes from over at the campsite across the lake. You can watch it hit the shoreline and bounce straight back. There's a lot of bounce back there. A lot of waves kind of continue to it doesn't settle out very easily at that site. So teams learning how to navigate that was part of the learning curve as well. Overall, it's really an interesting weekend. I think for me, like as I take away, I think from a skiing standpoint, there's certainly limitations to it. So like there's things between Midwest and Nationals. Anybody who really brought anything bigger than double fours from the left struggled to turn it around the ramp. So the teams that adjusted the best, that did bigger than that came from the right, had a better chance of success with the big pyramids. So there's just some things there from a skiing standpoint. For me, one of the and let me say this too, the Waterhawks did a really good job of hosting. Like the unknown stuff going in is moving people and staging areas and boat flow in and out. That all seemed to work great. They had it working great in that where the boat launch was in that marina area, getting boats in and out pre and post show. The Waterhawks did everything that they could to really do a nice job, be amiable throughout the weekend. Concessions flowed great. Beer tent was great. Staging areas were very long and ended up having a lot of room for teams. The green AstroTurf down was super helpful. Like all those things were top tier, really well done. One of the things that stood out to me was from a spectator standpoint, and I knew it would be kind of difficult, but they got this 8-foot retaining wall in front of the stage. And I found viewing shows extremely difficult. I was sitting all day Saturday in the bleacher section between the judges and the beer tent, one section to the left of center. And I couldn't see stage at all. I never saw an announcer. I never saw a dance from where I was. Like the Hartwick Huskies won Best Production. I watched their entire show, and I heard it was a good production. I have no idea because I just couldn't see it from where I was sitting. And so just some challenges from a viewing perspective at that site that I didn't even consider going in. I was so worried about the skiing and how would we adapt. And from a skiing perspective, I think everybody did great. The viewing was challenging. We actually had a handful of people on our team leave and go back to the hotel room and watch the webcast because from where they were sitting, I mean, there were so many people there. It was a full tournament. It was awesome to see the turnout of fans and skiers and teams. Incredible. But if you weren't in the middle two bleacher sections, you honestly couldn't see the stage. And so from a viewer aspect, I found that to be probably the most challenging thing of the weekend because I like to watch shows and I like to watch our fellow competitors, and I couldn't see a lot.
Yeah, no, I've got 3 pros and 3 opportunities. You hit on a couple of them. Number one, the biggest pro is the people. The Waterhawks are fantastic people. I believe this was the vision of kind of their forefather, Dean Weber, and they wanted to do right by him. And it came to full fruition, and they should be so proud of what they did. They could not have been more hospitable from the time in which you entered, and they were coordinating parking and whatnot to the time in which, again, whether it be concessions
The
or
people
just
collecting
walking by.
fees had to have gone through a training because they were so nice and so friendly. When you rolled down your window, they immediately greeted you.
With a
it was
smile.
top notch. I've never experienced that at a show ski tournament, the welcoming attitude from all of their volunteers.
It was like going to Chick-fil-A. It was such great customer service and a patient and
Customer
experience.
service, exactly. They did a great job on that.
So again, cannot speak higher for that entire team and what they did from a preparation standpoint, and they hit it out of the park. the response to the adverse conditions should not be understated. It downpoured. It was a wet, soggy, muddy mess. And between bringing in hay and carting people around and dealing and trying to accommodate handicap folks and everything else that goes with that, they
running shuttles with the tractor, using the tractor to tow out
yep,
campers stuck in the
and
mud.
RVs.
They
Yep.
did it all.
They weren't expecting any of that, and to be able to rise the occasion and not miss a beat, once again, awesome job on their part. And then, as you
Yeah,
pointed out,
yeah.
the conditions were, albeit it's a fishbowl, right, similar to Lake City, and it takes a while to settle things down. That's everybody's got an equal playing field there, and as long as we're not experiencing white caps and we're able to barefoot a little bit here and there, the conditions were fantastic. The cons, similar to you, seating, there's opportunity there, right? And so, understanding where there's more opportunity to bring in bleachers, create a better experience from a visualization standpoint, I think that's great. I also experienced a sound. So I sat 2 days on the left side, not quite to where the chief judge area was. I had a hard time hearing, and there was no speakers down on that end, or if there was, they were way in the skiers area and then between main stage, and so I had a hard time hearing. So that's an easy fix, but the sound,
Yep.
and then ultimately, from a show site specifically, it's just what I saw from a pyramid standpoint, and from some of the other. You're getting close to probably maximizing numbers at that site right now. It doesn't mean that you can't be more amenable or that you can't be creative or anything, but strictly from a number standpoint, when it comes to the big acts, when it comes to the pyramids, you're probably getting close to maximizing what it is that you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, great points. Great weekend by all. Fun to see the Aquanuts, come from state to where they ended up at nationals. Really, good shows by a lot of the top tier teams. Fun to see the Hartwick Huskies in the mix. They gained a lot of backwater gamblers, but they put it together. They've got talent. Garth Peter was their show director. A lot of veteran experience there and talent. Fun to see them put that together. They had a lot of energy. So it's a great weekend overall.
I did think one other comment, and
Yeah.
it not necessarily has any correlation with the site, but one takeaway that I thought it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on or Adam's thoughts on is last year RAJ and some the top teams were right around close to 2,100 points. I was surprised, to your point, with the execution that was involved with some of those teams and whatnot. Aquanuts top scoring, I think that they came in just above 1,900, and so we saw decreased top scores amongst all the teams, which is fine. But I asked myself, why is that? Why are we seeing again a decrease in scores? And that is no inflection on again the judges either. I'm just posing the question because again, probably 150, close to a 200-point gap from last year. And again, Aquanuts hit it out of the park in terms of their execution, but just interesting. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is an interesting data point, and I don't know is the correlation we're getting at that smaller stuff from a difficulty standpoint was put out. You mentioned earlier kind of this idea that the Waterhawks site or the Lake City site are kind of a de facto leveling of the playing field, and if that's the case, more smaller teams should be in the mix, and regularly we're seeing the top five remain largely the same. Aquanuts, Mad City, Aqua Jays, and Wonder Lake have essentially been four of the top five every time it's been at Lake City or Evansdale, Iowa. It will be interesting conversations for the sport, as to what we like to see. We always have these conversations. All in all, I think everybody adapted really well given the conditions, and the corn sweat is a real thing.
The corn sweat is for real.
I think
That
the lower scores
humidity
can be attributed to humidity. I think that's the answer.
Unreal. Like
you
corn
go.
sweat is real. The humidity was ridiculous, and everybody came to play, and I'm guessing they sold a lot of beer and seltzers in that beer tent that weekend. But yeah, it'll be interesting going forward. I'm kind of curious on others' thoughts. I think I'm guessing everybody, like you said, Dave, everybody walked away from the weekend thinking, all right, that site's doable. We skied okay. And I think there's probably also some deeper digging and thought-provoking conversations to be had as we go forward. But all in all, no complaints. Really good weekend by all, and congrats to the Aquanuts once again. We now need to give flowers in another direction, and that's because we're going to talk about our fantasy results, gentlemen.
Let's just get this over with.
I feel like this is
we don't need to-
self-serving. This is self-serving,
It is
and this is
100%.
the gloating portion of the
100%.
podcast.
Because you mentioned like a 200-point gap from last year to this year in the team shows. We'll just go ahead and cut to the chase. Third place this year was Adam Schaller with 423 points. Adam had Mad City. He had Cypress Gardens. He had Lake City. Those were kind of his big dogs. They were the teams he failed by having Crivets and putting all his eggs in that basket with his Skip and Willow winner from Crivets. Second place, just 10 points ahead of Adam, was Dave.
10 points ahead of the blind squirrel.
Yep, 433 points. So Dave had the Otters, first pick of the draft. That didn't play out as he had hoped, given that they took 7th place.
I was 1 year early. That's my defense. I'm 1 year early on the Otters. Not taking
you picked
anything
them
away
first
from
again
them.
next
All
year.
the talent in the world. I'm 1 year early.
Well, Evan and
Double
Caroline
down.
are going to be show directing them next year, so that'll be fun to
Dave's
see.
doubling down on the Otters, and I'm going to double down on Crivets.
Dave had Otters, RAJ, Badgerland, Silver Lake, 5 Seasons, Shermalot, and he was just 10 points ahead of Adam at 433 points. The first place score was 651 points.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
We care.
Everybody
right?
stopped listening
No.
now anyway. We're more than an hour into
They've
this.
all stopped
Yeah,
listening. They
no,
tuned out this
yeah.
podcast. But I had the Nuts, Wonder Lake, the Huskies, the Webfooters, Ski Bronx, Sarah Fedorowicz, who won female at state.
Did anybody pick? Did anybody get Ethan and Kaylee?
Nope. Nope, because Dave
we're a
had
bunch of
Ty
dummies.
Hyatt and
We are
Grace
dummies.
Petzold.
We're dummies.
We're all dumb.
We are dummies.
We're all dumb. Yeah. So there we go. Our fantasy draft. It was closer heading into nationals, and then I ran away with it. And Adam was third place.
Stalled out.
He did stall out. So there you go. Fantasy draft, fun season, great tournament season. You know, all around, strong regionals, lots of individuals, and tournament season isn't completely done yet. So news came out that Flyman Skis is still going to be hosting a jump comp in Groveland, Florida, October 16 to 18. Men's and women's freestyle and trios, all at Jack Travers. Okay? If you are a jumper and you're a competitor, I encourage you to pour out to that. They've been through a lot, right? Flyman Skis, Nick Lyman is still battling. He still does not have movement of his arms as he needs to function. But they're going to be putting on this tournament October 16 to 18. It would be awesome to see everybody pour out for that. There's going to be some showcase exhibitions. There's going to be incredible amount of stuff going on. There's going to be swivel and barefoot sets. It's going to be a great weekend overall. Groveland, Florida, October 16 to 18. Additionally, just a few weeks later, the night jump is going to happen that weekend of the NSSA meeting. November, I want to say 7th or 8th, something like that. Friday night at Champions Lake in Auburndale. That was a blast last year. The skiers poured out. The stars came to watch. Super fun. So a couple more big competitions on the books in October and November, and will be great. This Saturday, Dave, you're one of the show directors of the Briars Ski for All.
Yeah.
August 22nd at the Nuts site. And I, unfortunately, I would have loved to have been one of the show directors of one of those shows. Scheduling in my life I'm unable to be there, which is too bad. I'm really bummed to miss this. But you're going to be there. Talk about this. They're doing a benefit for their daughter and all the others that are inflicted with this disease.
Yeah, this is Briar Ski for All, and that's Briar Planton. Emily Planton and Craig Planton, her parents, long time in show skiing. Craig, awesome skier, former Team USA member. Emily, starting out with Wonder Lake. Anyhow, Briar has Angelman syndrome. And so Emily Planton, who's kind of the brainchild behind this event, wanted to go ahead and bring together skiers and ultimately spread the word, create awareness, education around Angelman syndrome. So they created 5 teams, 5 different show directors, and everybody's putting on a 30-minute show. Adam's part of that as well. So fun for Adam and Justin Muschel, who are going to announce those 5 teams as well. And each team has been assigned a Angelman child and a family. And it's all about, again, creating awareness, making sure that, again, those families have a great experience. Ideally, putting those Angelman kids out on the water with the ski teams that they're assigned to. So there's certainly an adaptive component. And again, just having a great time, making sure that we're able to go ahead and showcase the journey that these kids have been on.
Yep, sounds like it's going to be a great turnout for that. Should be an awesome weekend this coming weekend. So best wishes to all in that and to the Plantons. Should be a great weekend. Adam, one of our upcoming episodes is going to be based on a conversation I had with Whitney Messenger, our old friend Whit, sound queen. She nailed it. We need to do an episode on AI in show skiing.
100%.
And we talked about different levels of that. So she's got ideas as it relates to AI to analyze scores, AI in use in show production, images, custom music and voiceovers, using artificial intelligence in ways like Hartwick Huskies had a song with their name in it that had to be likely AI created, stood out in their show.
Mickey Loca from the Quahamets has a show about him a song about him announcing that he used AI to create.
I think there's a lot of applications for teams to utilize AI and honestly for the sport as a whole. And so we're going to do a podcast on that and various ideas and ways to do that and where things might be headed as it relates to AI.
And we will use AI to write the script for that podcast.
Yep, let's do that.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you to our sponsors today. Thanks to the Board Shop, as always. All your summer and winter board sports gear is yours at bswake.com, and to Saga Sports, on-water training, trampoline training. Check them out at sagasports.us. Thank you to Dave for being on the podcast today.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
And, of course, thanks again to... Thanks, Dave. And, of course, thanks again to all of our listeners and our viewers. This is Matt and Adam and Dave, and this is The Ski Show.
Thank you for listening to The Ski Show, the ultimate show ski podcast with Matt and Adam. If you have questions or ideas for the show, find us on social media or message us at theskishowpodcast@gmail.com.